Oh, I I can't believe I'm talking about this today. Oh boy. Hey everybody. Onepeg here. So I'm uh, I'm leaving for vacation at 4:30 in the morning tomorrow, about 13 hours from now. The wife wants to go away for a week, so we're going to take a little trip. No streams or YouTube videos, although there will be one YouTube video that I've scheduled for release in a few days. But there won't be any streams or like newer YouTube content until like next Thursday. So, sorry. But before I go, thought we would have a quick conversation about this one. So Polygon author Austen Goslin, otherwise known as Austen G on Twitter, released 3 articles in the course of the same day. 1, The Witcher is on track to be Netflix's biggest debut ever, but the definition of biggest just changed. Released at 5:58 p.m. Eastern yesterday. An Escape from Tarkov guide released at 3:57 p.m. Eastern yesterday, titled Escape from Tarkov Guide, Best Gear to Bring Before a Raid. And another one released at 3:55 p.m. Eastern yesterday, which is Escape from Tarkov Guide, How to Get the Best Loot from a Scav Run. All 3 of these articles were released within just a couple of hours of each other. And Austen, while he looks absolutely adorable, seems to be a rather, I guess, fledgling writer at Polygon. And while his Witcher editorial piece seems like it's fine, the Tarkov stuff, yeah. So what I'd like to do really briefly is just kind of break down this article, because as of now, Polygon has changed the article from one that was written by Austen to one that now reads simply Polygon staff, and changed the article itself, or this guide that was being written, to one in which was now an apology, and talks about this meme that I am going to absolutely love showing you. So in this loadout guide, he goes into some pretty generalized discussion at the very beginning that talks about having to make decisions on what kind of gear to use. Now, one of the first things that you'll notice from this first screen cap that he has titled The Naked Loadout, which is otherwise known as a hatchling, is that he has a gamma container, which is great. He has an EOD edition. I would assume if he used his Polygon credentials that maybe BSG gave it to him as a member of the media. But in this case, you can quite clearly see that given the EOD edition of the game, this screen cap shows that he has not spent very much time in the game whatsoever. There may have been a raid, maybe 2, maybe 3. Maybe he took in some YouTube content. There's a couple of guns on this screen cap that don't come as just part of like the generic EOD edition. So maybe he had gotten out of a couple of raids with some gear, but it doesn't look like he's really spent more than maybe a couple of hours at most playing this game. So the very first thing that he advocates for in this case is a hatchling run. Now, for anyone that has played Tarkov for a long time, there's some back and forth about whether or not running a hatch is okay, and I'm not going to get into any of that. But suffice to say that the vast majority of the player base tends to agree that for people that run hatchets, aside from people believing it should be like a play style, it tends to be a play style that is centralized around necessity, as opposed to one that is centralized around a preferential, dealings inside of the game. This is not something that people tend to choose to do unless, they're just trying to amass some ridiculous amount of money in their stash. And I guess in the case of trying to learn a map and run around a little bit, that's a viable alternative. But with some of the deterrents that BSG has now come up with, yeah. Whether or not I would have listed the hatchling run as the very first item in a loadout guide, absolutely amazing. Amazing. The second loadout that's listed here is one in which he refers to as the PvP Thief loadout. Now, in this case, he shows a PP-19 with a 30-round mag, another 30-round mag, and a WT rig that, again, is supplied by the EOD package at the beginning as a rig, with one backup mag for a PM pistol that he also has in his secondary. His gamma container is completely empty, and he brings an AI2 kit. Now, there's a couple of things that are pretty wrong with this. I don't necessarily have a problem with him bringing, the SMG that he's got or the PM pistol, any of that. This is partially sort of kind of viable. There's no backpack, which doesn't necessarily have to be a thing that he brings. But if you're going to try and do this PvP thief kind of deal, you're leaving out painkillers, you're leaving out a splint, and you're leaving out bandages. Of all of these things, I would say that from a meds perspective, if you're trying to do this quote-unquote PvP thief kind of thing, it would be a much better idea to bring at least one little blister pack of painkillers and a bandage, at least one bandage in your gamma, over and above that of an AI2 kit, because the thing that will kill newbies at the beginning of this game is bleeding. Bleeding is the thing that kills you. You end up getting limbed by a scav or something, and not having a bandage, you'll end up bleeding out and dying. That's what happens. Of all of the possible builds that this person had put together, this one is actually the one that is the closest to something that someone would realistically use. But in very rare circumstance will you see somebody that actually brings a secondary. In most cases, people that are newer to Tarkov don't think to themselves, well, I just went empty. Rather than reload, I think I'm just going to switch to my pistol. Most people don't do that. That's actually a discipline that you kind of have to learn as you're playing along in this game. But I digress. PvP Thief is the closest thing to something that I could or would see somebody potentially using, but still way off the mark. And third, the one that takes all of the cake, the mother of all loadouts, is what Austen, you beautiful, beautiful bastard, what he referred to as the walking tank. Wow. So again, we have a WT rig with an AK-74N. Now, it's a stock AK-74N, doesn't have any modifications whatsoever. It's a basic Scav AK-74N with a couple of extra 30-rounders and a WT rig. In addition to that, he also has advocated for bringing a Mosin with some additional 54R sniper cartridges in your pockets. Either one of those is totally fine to bring in to a raid at any point. In addition to this, he also has a bottle of water, 2 cans of Tashanka, 2 splints, a bandage, a morphine, and an AI2 kit. So, in the case of meds, and he has a grenade in his pocket. So, in the case of meds and food, yes, it's very possible that throughout the course of a raid, you could run out of hydration and or energy and would need to refill that. However, anyone that has had any experience in the game knows that there is a task much later on, midway through the therapist task, that require that you hand in several cans of Tashanka. If you have the EOD edition of the game, there's a large number of them that are given to you at the very beginning. So it's a good idea to stockpile those as opposed to using them for a food source. Secondarily to that, the author tends to advocate for not putting anything in the gamma container whatsoever. And when you're learning to play the game as a newbie, the first thing that you want to do is secure meds. Meds are like gold when you are brand new. You want to put the bandages and the splints and the morphines and all that stuff in your gamma container. And again, just like the Tashanka, there is a task later on for morphine. You don't want to use up the resources that you have to hand in for task items when you need those just to be able to get through those task walls for rep and upgrading, to higher task levels and all that kind of stuff. But the thing that takes the cake in this, the thing that I love the absolute most, is the Kiver and the 3M. 3M armor is very, very, very low-grade armor. It is ballistically designed to stop low-caliber pistol arms fire. It is the Tarkov equivalent of wearing a paper mache vest and assuming that you have armor on. Everything breaks through 3M armor. Everything. There's also a task to hand in 3M armor to Skier that has to be accomplished. So again, you wouldn't want to use this. And the fact that this is titled The Walking Tank is amazing. 3M armor is arguably the worst armor in the game to wear. It is I think second worst in the entire game right now. There is like one other piece of armor that is lower grade than this, and this and a P.A.C.A. are about equivalent. But the Kiver, wearing a Kiver and saying that you're now a walking tank with a Kiver on, not understanding that there is a thing in this game called a face hitbox where you can get hit in the eyes, the jaw, the ear, the nape, and having a Kiver not protect any of that at all means that anyone, well, the Kiver protects your ear, but having somebody with a PM pistol, the little pea shooter that he had listed as PvP thief, you could walk in with a PM pistol and literally the worst ammunition in the entire game and kill him with one shot to the face. Kill him with one shot to the face. Yeah. This is amazing. It's amazing. Oh my gosh. I love this. It's so good. It's so good. But if you look super close, there's one other little Easter egg in this that I thought was absolutely fantastic. And that is the ammo, the 545 ammo that looks like it's been consumed in putting in these mags is PRS. See, the thing with Tarkov, for those of you that don't have a whole lot of experience, is Tarkov is a game about ballistics. It's not a game about guns. It's a game about ammo. And PRS is arguably the worst ammunition for 545 in the entire game. While from a historical tank perspective, you're not going to be doing a whole lot of damage. You might piss some people off and cause some aggro, which will make them want to hit you, but you're not going to survive any counterattacks. Wow. I didn't even have a chance to get into the Scav run article. That article is also equally as bad. Not in the fact that the description of what a Scav run is necessarily bad, but it's titled How to Do a Scav Run, and which I could only assume that if you're going to show people how to do a Scav run, you would show them some kind of loot route or talk about the kinds of loot that you would want to get. And it didn't do any of that. It was just a description on when to do Scav runs and why they're important. But it was an article titled How and didn't actually go into how. It didn't even list the procedure by which to click the mouse to enter the raid, which would literally have been how to get into a Scav raid, and that didn't happen either. So Polygon. Oh, Polygon. I love you guys. I do. Sometimes you guys have really, really good stuff in the articles that you write, but your boy Austen, your boy Austen needs some help. Help him. Help him. And when it comes to Tarkov, have them work with one of us. Deadly Slob, Pastilli, Veritas, Clean, Fair TX. Shit, you could get Junker. Go get Junker. He knows enough. No Food After Midnight. Any of the guys at the wiki. Don't talk to Reddit. Don't talk to the Reddit mods. Don't do that. I don't know why you referred them to go to the Tarkov Reddit. Don't. No. I'm going on vacation. I love you guys, and I will see you real soon. Bye.